Guys, welcome. Today we're here with a very special guest. You may know him as the yogi with the Lamborghini, and you may know him from his entrepreneurial days, but up to now, he is now Master Shri Akarshana. Welcome and namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, Natasha, and thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much for being here. We are so excited for you to be here. We've seen you around Clubhouse and hosting the most wonderful events around the world. You are constantly traveling and helping people and helping lives. Now, I know your journey. I think it's incredible, but how did this begin for you?
If we're referring to the more spiritual journey, I think it's probably started from my 24, 25-year-old when I was suffering from depression. And then out of that, I started doing the charity work. I have a piece of land out in Kenya. So we have a foundation. We have an orphanage, a school out there, which I guess awakened me to something that is beyond money, or maybe I'd like to say the power of money, how money can help people, actually save lives. And so we started on our work of service. And the more I embarked on that journey of helping people, I started getting connected with the terminology of what people call it today, which is manifestation and law of attraction, and then embarked on that journey. And I guess while sharing this message on social media, as the universe had plans for us, it just within literally 2 years, organically, it just reached out to 100 million people. And so after that, then what happened was there was a Himalayan yogi by the name of Grandmaster Akshar, and one of his disciples reached out to me to ask me to go on an initiation, a pilgrimage with him up in the mountains. I didn't know so much what it was all about. And then I thought, let's just go for the experience, see what happens. And then through the journey, I learned about Kundalini, energies, third eye, different dimensions, and started seeing things more to do with future and past and everything and existence in different dimensions. And he gave me the blessing of the spiritual master title. So this was around 2 years ago. And so I've been continuing this journey to pay the message forward for the past few years.
That is so powerful. And I mean, everywhere you go and everything you speak, it comes from a place of pure bliss and magic. You've obviously learned things that you did up there in the mountains that most people will never even know. And that is why they're so blessed to have you as a leader, as somebody who can carry that mission forwards and help so many people. What is your mission today? What are you passionate about?
I always say to people these days, we are not so much manifesting for self anymore. And I'm sure you'll be able to agree with this, is because you have also reached a lot of success and abundance in life. When it comes a time where you have the cars you want, you have the house you want, you're able to feed or look after the close ones around you, it will always be a case of, how do I contribute beyond myself? What is the higher purpose, which will always come into the acts of service. So for us, the mission is through us, just like what we're doing now, is to raise consciousness of love and positivity, to equip people with the right tools to be able to achieve their greatest potential, and also for people like us to come together in unity, in love and harmony, because I fully believe that in this world right now, there's too much divide, too many things going on, and people need that support. And if we can, in our one lifetime, be that support and do as much as we can, the more the better, and it's good for everybody's karma also.
Wonderful. And I agree. I couldn't agree more. I would, when I speak to my community about this, I always say, when you want something in your life, make sure you are manifesting it from a place of abundance, but make sure you are manifesting it from a place of being for others. It must always be for others. Every single thing that you want to attract into your life must be to benefit others. Because if you want something in your life and you are not doing it for the right reasons, it is for instant gratification, for the ego self, not for long-term fulfillment. And you want things that will better this planet, that will better humanity, that will better the lives of others around you. And until you learn to manifest from that place, you're not really doing it for the right reason. But people like you and I have been through something. Like, I've been through adversity on a very profound level, where I wanted things before that time for me until that red light happened. And that red light was pain. And pain happens in a spiritual, mental, physical, or emotional way, so that you realize there is something going wrong in my life right now. There is something I am not dealing with. And when you recognize that, then you can move on. When you recognize you need to take a U-turn, it's a test from the universe, it's a sign from the universe, you're not going in the right direction. And then you start to want things for a different reason, from a place of detachment as well. That's another thing. You must have learned all about detachment, right?
Our practice was all about detachment. And actually what you said there was wonderful, because um, actually um, beyond that, if we look at law of attraction is about not just attracting what you want, but more so about attracting who you are. Now, the interesting thing about helping people, we always put that as the highest form of manifestation, because when we help somebody towards something, we become that vibration. But the beauty about it is exactly what you just mentioned there. When you're helping other people, you usually don't have the personal attachment to the outcome that you would have if you're manifesting for self. So even unconsciously or subconsciously, when you are helping other people, you become the vibration and you don't have any attachment to outcome, which is the greatest form of manifestation, because things just come to you in abundance without even feeling like you're trying.
I love it. Can we go in more on this topic? I love it so much. For you, when you manifest, where do you manifest from, and how do you manifest the things you want into your life? Because everything you do is to serve others, everything. And so, how, for anyone watching, we'll just throw out some of our favorite things, but what is it that works for you?
So I think we need to split it up into a few stages, because if we talk about average human consciousness, which we all know that is not extremely high, and so average human consciousness, they are just consciously trying to do things. A slightly higher consciousness is people who recognize that their subconscious mind is the thing that's governing everything. So they start working on, how do I reprogram my subconscious mind, or with NLP techniques or timeline therapy, to be able to change that pain pleasure relation to attract what we want. But then on a further level of consciousness, then we are speaking about superconscious. And when we are speaking about superconscious, we are no longer separating I with universe. And so when we understand we are one with universe, then every idea, every desire that we have, every want and need is coming from universe, actually, because it moves through us. That is the energy in motion that we feel as emotional drive. And so if that is the case, as we know in science, we say energy is everything and everything is energy. And we also know that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So what does that mean? It means that every desire that you can even dream of is already done, because it already exists, just in a different place, dimension, in time. Now, so a lot of the things we want to manifest as a human, let's say, just a average consciousness, we are trying way too hard, actually. And I know that you are very in touch with the higher level of consciousness, is because I see your drive and your passion. You are so passionate about what you do. There will not really be a day where you say, "Oh, I can't do something today," or "I'm lacking motivation," because everything that's happening for you right now is beyond you. You spend so much time dedicated to helping people. And so that is because you are a very clean channel, very connected with the divine, and allowing that to flow through you. So with that said, the manifestation practices is not so strict anymore. And I'm sure it's the same with you. What we need to share with people on an average level of consciousness will be things like vision boards and scripting and all of these different tools and things. But that is because people, they lack motivation, they lack the skill sets and the knowledge. But once you get to that type of alignment in which that you are also, actually, a lot of those practices are no longer needed, because we don't need anything to motivate us anymore. We don't need to remind ourselves of what our dream, our passion, and our desire is, because we just allow it to flow through us, and we just know that we are abundance, and we continue to grow and grow and grow, and we continue to manifest with the universe, whatever comes through us.
That is the best way I've ever heard it phrased. That is phenomenal. You guys, by the way, anyone that's watching that is like, I want to know more about this incredible being, he is like this all the time. This is him. You can follow him on Clubhouse, on Instagram, everywhere, Masterstry Akarshana, and you will find him there as we continue this journey. I just want to make sure that everybody watching knows the links will be below. And you will be able to find out so much more about this incredible person and how he can help serve you further on your journey. So, okay, I just want to touch on the things that you just said when you're basically in alignment. And it's interesting, you said, you know, we don't need those tools anymore. The funny thing is, I don't remember the last time I love to vision board for fun, but I never now think, right, I want to manifest this. What I do is I just flow, like you said. I'm with the universe, whatever the universe wants to bring through me. And that was at the time, my child wanted to come through me, the blessing of that, the blessing of a certain platform coming through me, the blessing of a growing platform. Anything that happens in my life, I know is to serve the greater good, because my mission ultimately is to serve the greater good. And so if someone's watching right now, and you're like, how do I get into alignment? Well, you do things that make you feel good. You wake up every day and do things that serve others. Ask, how can I do my assignment today? How can I do things towards my assignment today? How can I do more things that are going to serve others? Show me events, people, and places that will take me steps towards the goal that I'm looking to serve. And that is all you can do, is take steps every single day towards your ultimate goal. And when you do that, you will be in alignment. Because the only time that people don't feel, I think this is right. What do you think, Master Shri? Well, the only time that people don't feel in alignment is when they're doing things that don't serve their purpose.
That's right. I think that what you said there was wonderful. It's beautiful to be able to be connected, and I'm sure the universe put us together for this reason, you know, because vibration alignment is there. I think it's more. It's what my mentor used to always say. It's simple but not easy. It's one of those things where we say it, it's like, oh, is that it? You just need to be in alignment. But at the same time, and the not easy part is more to do with people's minds. People are usually thinking, overthinking, doubting, and fearing.
Yeah.
And I think that in today's world of coaches, a lot of people always say, you need to get rid of that fear, or you need to know how to remove fear. But what I realized through time is that we don't remove. I'm sure there's new ventures, especially while you're growing right now. You will have new ventures, new things that you're diving into. At times there will be doubt and fear, because if you've never been there before, you're still going to feel it. But the only difference is you feel the fear and you're used to it. You know that means if I step into that, I'm going to grow from it. So I believe that's the only difference. I think too many people are like, how do I get rid of this fear? Why do I have these doubts? But the difference between, let's say, Natasha saying, I know it's scary. There's fear there. There's doubts there, but it's the human mind. But if I feel my intuition, I'm going to step into it anyway, and I'm going to make it happen. And because you're used to winning,
Yes.
and then you can program yourself that way. And the more you do it, the better you become at it. So what my master, Grandmaster Aksha, would class you as is superhuman.
Shri, what does Namaste mean for anyone that doesn't know? It's powerful, by the way, guys. Wait till you hear this.
So Namaste for us, we are just giving our respect. We are bowing down to energies, actually. So we're welcoming all. So it's a greeting, but in our lineage and how we practice it, actually, everyone, it doesn't matter if it's the waiter at a restaurant, it doesn't matter if it's a person on the street, it doesn't matter even if it's a homeless person on the street. We always bow down to all energies. And this is one thing that my master, when we were up in the Himalayas and then we're going through India, a lot of the time he's bowing down. And I was thinking, so these homeless people and these beggars and people, I said, you bow down to all these people. Why is it? And he told me, he said, everything and everyone is divine energy. Everything is oneness. And what he said was, he said, there are no words that go unheard and there are no actions that go unseen. He said, the universe is always watching. And based on how you treat people and how you are, how respectful you are, the universe will give accordingly, because that's your vibration. And I think there's many of a time where certain people in life, they will look up or look down at people. And just because of the way they look or the way they are. And I think that when one embarks on this journey of abundance, but at the same time can keep the humbleness in saying that, okay, you are divine energy. Everyone is divine energy. When we bow down to that, watch how the universe can deliver and give you more manifestations.
I believe in everything you're saying so profoundly. I know, as being somebody who had a near-death experience, what you're saying about the oneness is so true. When you suddenly see the light in that way and you are thrown into a situation where it's mostly through a near-death experience, but some people can have it now through, basically breathing exercises or ayahuasca or various other things they've experienced. When you get to a place where you have the light in front of you, do you know the messages that come through is always the same? It is that we are oneness. We are just one consciousness. We are a greater consciousness. We are unconditional love. And you know what happened to me when I had a really scary near-death experience, and I will explain it more when I come on your show than here, but basically I got shown all the people that I had once hurt, but from their eyes.
That is beautiful what you shared there, because when we pass, that is the tunnel that we go through. We feel every emotion that we've ever put on other people. And so it's a big deal. And it's very interesting because my master, Grandmaster, actually, he always talks about, he said that in every moment, we are kind of preparing ourselves for that journey, for the passing. Because every moment that we are living, we need to understand when we go, we're going to experience all of that again, all of what we're putting out there. And one of the big things that I learned on that journey was more to do with positive energy and negative energy. Ooh. And this was a very interesting one, because you know this also, as an influencer, as a person who puts the name out there, puts their whole life out there for the people, right? Because we don't have to. You know you don't have to. I know I don't have to, right? And some people look at it as it's fame and influencer and celebrity, that type of thing. But actually, I feel actually putting yourself out there is the most humble thing to do. You're putting so much vulnerability out there. And understanding that when you put yourself out there will never be 100% of people agreeing. There will be haters, there will be naysayers, there will be people who have their opinions and their thoughts. And when people stimulate by giving their opinions, usually people hate with haters. People hate with negative people. But the biggest learning I learned from my master was actually we need to learn to love all, because all is one. So the positive and the negative, we need to know how to respect both energies. In fact, when we don't respect the negative energies, they fight back, and they're very, very strong. The negative energies are very strong, right? I always say to people, it's very funny because the haters online, they show up more motivated than your fans do, right? They know when to come and they know how to attack, and they will keep attacking. They're more motivated because that is the pain driver that you were speaking about before. And so what my master always says is, understand one thing, that everything is oneness and there is no bias. Bow down to all energies, respect all energies, good or bad. That doesn't mean you agree with what they're saying. It just means that you will not stimulate anything. You're not creating fight. Instead, you're putting out love. Why? Because those people require love most. So give that love out there.
Wow. I love what you're saying. It's touching my soul. For me, I feel that when we walk into situations, for example, walking into a room and there is a negative energy, the trick is not to go to their energy. It's to bring your own energy with you and let them raise to yours. And when they raise to your energy where you're at, that is where the magic happens, because you set the tone of the meeting, of the room, of the lunch with your family members, of wherever you're going. You walk in with your own energy and they raise to it, to your vibration. Because ultimately, the universe responds to your frequency. We are like a radio station, exactly like you just said about the universe rewarding you with more when you put out a good vibration. Your vibration is everything. Do you ever I always find, when I'm in a brilliant mood, I'm really resonating on ways I can help so many people, and I'm doing it in a day, I have the most phenomenal day, more opportunities. And do you want to speak on this platform? Do you want to do that? Wonderful things arise. But when you are putting out there to the world, and believe me, Master Shri and I are still human, You know, we still have days where it's horrendous, I'm sure. And, you know, but we know how to handle it. And that's the difference. We know how to transmute that negative feeling and that negative energy into positive in very quick time, as though time doesn't exist. You know, and that's what I would like to share today is if someone's listening, is learning how to transmute that energy. What do you do, Master Shree? What do you recommend as ways that somebody can transmute a negative energy to positive? I know you already went into it a little bit, but what activities can they do? What can they do in their day practically, bringing spirituality into practicality?
Very good. So when negativity comes in, first point of call is breath. Slow inhale and gentle exhale. If at any time you are ever angry, upset, impatient, if you do that extremely slow inhale and exhale, there's not possible that you are equally as angry or upset anymore. So breath is life, breath calms, breath is light and love and healing. So by breathing, you calm. Then when you're calm, you no longer react, you know how to respond. Number two, what we do, you do a pattern interrupt. So we find something for yourself. This is an NLP technique. So you can find anything that makes you laugh, any visual that you can think of that is funny. So bring that visual in and then just see it. So it interrupts the pattern and you're like, what? It doesn't make sense because you interrupted the pattern. Because always understand what you focus on expands. If you focus on negativity, you get more of it. So we break the pattern. The third thing, get back into gratitude. Think of what is all that you're grateful for, because you can't be grateful and upset at the same time. So you start listing those things. By that time, you've shifted already. Then the final step is focus on what you want to manifest, not what you don't want. It's not what the negativity that's going on is. You know, it's interesting because I think 2 years ago, I used to have a watch cabinet. The watch cabinet was sat here. I had about 150,000 pounds worth of Swiss watches inside that watch cabinet. And that was when I just started doing YouTube videos. And that's why I'm saying it's very vulnerable when we show people our private space, putting our name out there. And then what happened was a few months later, somebody broke through my door and they took my whole watch cabinet, the whole thing, everything emptied, right? And so it was interesting because this was one of the moments where it tested my spirituality. It tested the method that I was just sharing just now. I remember we just finished an event, a live event in London. So they must have been following online. They know we had an event there. So they see. And then what happened is they broke and we came back and then we seen a big hole in the door. Then my first reaction was, and I said, interesting. Then I walk through the door and I see, okay, nothing's missing so far. I said, that's pretty cool. I opened that door, I came in, I seen an empty watch cabinet. And my first thing, obviously, every F and S and whatever word comes out at that moment in the head, it was like going wild. And I was thinking, did it, what, who, what? And then everything came out. Then it was,
Wow.
I said, interesting. And then I said to myself, I said, because my mum was with me at the time. She said, you should call the police. I can't believe it. Oh my God, what's happening? She was screaming everything. I said, Mum, it's okay, breathe. She said, what do you mean? Do you not see what's happening? I said, Mum, I see it. I said, just breathe. I said, Mum, I held her hands. I said, Mum, isn't it beautiful? We were not in the house and we're still alive.
Ah,
I said, you're alive. I'm alive, Mum. I said, isn't this the most beautiful thing? I said, Mum, isn't it beautiful that that's the only thing they took? Imagine that.
they
Like
only
we
took it.
come into this, I said, we come into this world with nothing, we leave with nothing. I said, I'm so grateful that once upon a time, I was able to experience 150,000 pounds of watches. You know, I said, that's a very spoiled kid being able to at least enjoy that. And I said, the people who would do such action to need to break through and commit a crime like this, right? To put their karma on the line to do something like this, they must desperately require the money right now. And I just wish that when they use that money, they use it to be able to help themselves, help their families, or help somebody. At least it's giving somebody life on the other side.
Wow.
And complete, done with, finished.
Wow. You are now that is a beautiful thing. And we learn in many different practices around the world exactly the technique you just taught. And that is the most profound thing I think anyone can take from today so far is how you reacted to that. That is, if you could react like that to a scenario that was so pressing, then what on earth can people have to be when there is something around you? You must pause. And this is why I was saying in other practices, so in Kabbalah, they teach to pause in the moment and say, what a pleasure. And they say, when you're experiencing something, when you're going through something, you pause in that moment, you say, what a pleasure, why this is happening to me. And you ask yourself, why is this in my movie? So you say, it's so bizarre when you're saying to somebody who's being horrible to you, you're thinking in your mind, what a pleasure, why are they screaming at me in the street? It's so bizarre, but it somehow fits and aligns, because when you look at your life and say, it's a reflection of me, this is a mirror of something I don't like in myself that I need to see. There is something here right now that I need to see, because it's going to help me on my soul's evolution.
Mm.
We
Let me share with you. Actually, beyond that, it was very interesting what happened, because if you can be like that and you can happily just detach, you're not attached to anything, then you are no longer in scarcity mindset, you are in abundance mindset. And the interesting thing is, it did two things for me. Number one, I did not realize it cleared space for new things to manifest into my life. So I started to realize over the coming months, a lot of big projects, a lot of big ventures and big things was manifesting into my life. The second thing I didn't realize is, when I was able to let that thing go, because I was in so much of abundance mindset, it's all there anyway. It will all come back. It can come back. And there was no scarcity or doubt or fear that it's gone and I'll never be able to make it back or anything. What happened was, in business, in Korea, everything started scaling. It was weird.
a
It was
release,
like more
it was
like,
like a release of something that needed to be released for some bizarre reason.
it's almost like an energy exchange of, it's like an investment even. It's like 150K went out and then like 500K came in. It's like, it's a weird, like, these are the super conscious, which using logical mind is not so understandable, but it happens. This is giving and receiving. This is what you're putting out and getting back. This is clearing space for new things to come in.
Absolutely. And we can clear space anytime. I always say to people, you want to manifest abundance in your life. You want to see a shift in your reality. You want to see abundance in financially in your business. You want to see an abundant relationship with love and strengthen your own one or find somebody new. It's the same thing. You've got to clear that space first. You've got to clear the way. My second pillar in manifesting, and what I teach is, your first one is clarity of vision. The second one is remove the blockages, and that is part of it. Removing any fears and doubts and things that are standing in your way that you are attached to, that are stopping you from attracting the person of your dreams, or the abundance in the whatever area it might be, the business or the relationship or the health. Wherever it is, there is something blocking. And sometimes it is a material thing. For me, my life was blocked by, I was in an unhealthy marriage that wasn't serving me. And so the illness took me the illness to realize this isn't right for me. But
Mm.
only when you hit that, like I said at the beginning, the pain in a physical, mental, spiritual, emotional way, that is when you are able to say something isn't right. What is it? But I knew already what it was. And that, once I cleared that space, I went on to then now meet the love of my life. But it took me to clear that space to do it.
Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful.
Is there anything that you have achieved in your life, and you can remember and recall something you did as the predecessor to that, be it a practice or something that you into existence?
Mm.
Do you see?
Yeah, I mean, there's many things, because when we connected, looking backwards, everything connects. But I think one of them actually is regards to the Lamborghini.
Yes.
Um, but it took many years. It did take many years, actually. I think it was because it was not so aligned with it for a long time. So I remember I only found it only recently. I made a YouTube video on it. I had an old vision board, and it was the first time I heard about vision board. This is about, I don't know how many years, 10 years, more than 10 years ago. And then I created one, and then I just stuck a Lamborghini. It was the old orange Lamborghini that I seen on TV. And the alignment of not getting the Lamborghini was, the interesting thing is, it was not so much about not being able to afford it.
Yeah.
I manifested money pretty early on in my career, but the alignment that didn't allow me to get a manifest a Lamborghini was actually because I didn't feel, actually there was a fear of public judgment. There's a fear of how people would perceive, because it's like, how can a spiritual person or somebody who's into spirituality have a Lamborghini? So for many years, actually, I was holding back. I was thinking, no, this is not going to be right. People are going to hate and all the rest of it. So there was that. Then it came clarity around 4 years ago or something like that, where I was like, actually, is the spirituality I want to share what people think spirituality is? Or is the spirituality that I want to share my spirituality, in a sense that I believe spirituality is everything, is abundance? And it's okay. At the end of the day, when anybody gains something, nobody else loses. So if that's the case, why do we fear other people's judgment? And this was really contradicting to a lot of things that I used to be teaching people. Don't fear, don't fear. And meanwhile, inside there was a fear of people's judgment for that. And so I decided to get it. So I got the Lamborghini after working on myself, aligning my worthiness and everything towards it. And so once I did that, I got the Lamborghini, and lo and behold, it did exactly what I thought. A lot of people came on to say, you're not spiritual. And it's like, okay, that's okay. It's okay. It's okay what everyone says, because at the end of the day, and people, so they sometimes say, oh my God, why would somebody spend so much money on this? And I'm like, at the end of the day, people say, why don't you spend it on charity instead? I say, I've been spending on charity for the last 9-10 years now. The real question is, why don't you spend money on charity? The real question is, who are you helping? And I think everything is proportional, because if a person's earning, let's say, 1,000 a month, and they buy a watch for $50, then I can be like, why would you spend $50 on a watch? Why would you not spend it on charity? But everything's proportional. When you're making 1 million or 100 million or whatever, then everything's proportional. So I think there's an abundance out there, and everybody, and my main message for people today, and I believe this is what will make the world a better place, is to bridge the gap between the material world and the spiritual world. I feel it's too much where there's a lot of spiritual people, conscious people, heart, they're so loving. They want to send love and healing to the world. Yet at the same time, they don't have the financial means, and they're stuck in a job, and they don't even know how to fulfill their needs. The second end of the spectrum, you have people who are stuck in the hustle, and they're chasing for, I don't know what. They think that happiness is going to be the next car or the next job promotion. And what I feel is, if we can bridge that gap, we can awaken the material people to being, gratitude, loving, consciousness, service. And then we can awaken the spiritual people to, hey, you are a spiritual being, but you're in a physical form and you live in a physical house. So how about you bridge the gap? Because when you do that, I believe what we can do is, if we equip the spiritual people, the conscious people, with the making money tools, I believe we can make a world a much better place, because now the heart-centered people have the means to be able to put that healing out there to people.
That is conscious living. That is conscious entrepreneurship, and putting the money in the right hands of the people who want to serve and build businesses to help others. That comes back to the true manifestation. Master Shri, you're a genius. I love it. My final question today, because I think that was just so powerful. I want everyone to just remember this. Today, in today's world, do you think it is hard for someone who has never been faced with, they're pragmatic, they don't see anything past, they don't, Wi-Fi, they know that Wi-Fi is there, but they don't understand, maybe, whereas we know Wi-Fi exists, and we also understand the connection to the divine, the connection to oneness. For somebody that's never experienced anything like this, and they may be watching today thinking, but I'm doing fine, and what would you say to this person, the person that really, I want to talk to you, and you're watching this and you're here for a reason, you're ready to shift, but what do we say to them?
In terms of how to connect deeper to the divine.
Yeah.
If they are really seeking for it, then they'll find it. I think the practice will come from breath, because breath is life. Breath is what we came in with. Breath is what we leave with. So breath is life. If we understand breath work, we can take breath work up and we can take breath work out. So we can then connect. So I think learning breath work, learning to silence the mind, because the mind is the only thing that you need to bypass. When mind is skeptical, very difficult to go anywhere. When mind is open, we can go deep into spirituality. So Mind, bypass the mind. Second thing, calm, calm that mind. Breath work will connect. And then third thing will then be in that vibration when you are feeling connected to feel, as we say, energy in motion, as emotion without mind being mind stimulated. Emotion is that gut feeling, that God feeling, that good feeling, that intuition. That is the connection. And if we are able to continue to flow with that intuition, which I know you're very good at, so people should also follow, they should all follow your teachings, and then they can all flow like you and manifest like you, and abundance will just come in. Because know that everything that you've ever dreamed of, everything that you've ever thought, any idea you've ever had, the bigger version of you, actually, that is all already done. Once you can connect with that source and you can flow with those energies and live in flow state, actually everything comes so easily, effortlessly.
Master Shri, namaste. Thank you
Namaste.
so much for today. I have had the best time, and I know that everybody here is loving what they're learning today. So make sure you've taken notes, press rewind, go back, take more notes, follow Master Shri Akarshana here, and find out all about his world, his teachings, everything he's doing in the world. He's reaching millions of people. Millions and millions of lives are changing because of his work in the world. I'm grateful for you being here today. Thank you so much. And I'm grateful that we are, connected, and we're going to go on to serve our missions together and see what else we can do in the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Natasha. Thank you for having me here. And it's an absolute blessing. I appreciate you and appreciate everybody who's watching. Love and prayers for everyone. Namaste.
Thank you.